We're almost ready to bring this to Heritage Park. As you can see, I added a do not touch sign on either side because it looks like we won't have a plexiglass cover over it. So just as an added precaution, I put that. You also notice I spray painted the edge of the base all gray, so that looks nice and neat. And a couple other things I've done while we've been away here. The Cutie Caddy roof is finished. And over here, the train roof is finished. And I found a interesting way to do that. What I did is I put in the posts first and painted them. And then I took the roof and I put the roof in place on top and lifted it off, and that left little dots where the paint was. And the beauty of that is I knew exactly where this was going to fit. So then I took my hot glue gun and I put blobs of hot glue where the dots were, put it back on, and it stuck beautifully. So that was a good way to do that and that. And then I'm going to do the same type of principle with this. There is, if I can focus this, there's the entrance to the satellite. I was very happy with how this came out. And that will go, as I drop it, that will go right over here. And I'm going to do it the same way I did these. I'm going to put the bamboo skewers in, paint them, and then put this on top so I know where the posts are, put hot glue there, and then glue it on. And that will be done. And I think that's probably going to be all I'll be able to finish before we get there. I decided not to do the roof of the whip because I actually have the mechanism of the whip I have to put in, and the cars for the whip were attached to the mechanism, and if I have the roof on, I'm not going to be able to get in there and work and put the cars on there when I 3D print them. So this will probably be one of the last roofs I do. Oh, and also one other thing. This is really heavy, a lot heavier than I wanted. I was trying to find 1/2 inch thick pine, and I could only find 3/4 inch pine. But essentially, this is going to be a cover that I'll be able to affix on top of this whole thing so that this won't get damaged in transport. It's going to make this table a lot heavier, but it'll protect it. So, a couple more things to do. So I have all my posts in, and I painted dark green like they were. And my sign I edged with red, which it was at the park, and there are my little dots to tell me where the posts are. So once the paint dries, I'll go ahead and put hot glue on those, set it in place, and then the satellite is done. And there's the satellite entrance, all finished. And that's the last structure that I'm putting in before this moves to Heritage Park. And what I've done is I had a sheet of tracing paper here, and I've mapped out all of the different buildings that I still need to do, so I won't need to have the model here. I can just go by this and build the buildings according to this blueprint here, and then I can just bring them up to the park and glue them down. Most of these, you know, the whip roof notwithstanding, but most of these buildings I'll be using foam core board as the base anyway, so that'll make it easy. I can just build them all up right there on the foam core board and just glue the foam core board down on the surface. So before it leaves and gets boxed up, let's do one final flyover. I also added a few more trees too, but one little flyover while it's still in the basement here. Welcome back. We're here with Jim.
Hi.
And we're going to put this mother cover on top of this model. Are you ready? I've got
ready.
your little handles here.
I'm up for it.
And it's got to go straight down on top.
Okay.
Should fit snug like a bug in a rug. You okay?
I'm good.
We have ignition. Look at that. Who says I can't do carpentry? I do.
Jake will be making coffins too, man.
My own. All right, now let's get this sucker outside. There she goes. Yeah. So thanks to Jim, the model is in the car, ready to be moved tomorrow over to Heritage State Park, and then we'll pick it up at that point.
All the way over to the sidewalk. You want to like go all the way? You want to keep it as flat as, or yeah, we can go in that door. If you go up to where it's pretty level. Okay. Go up. Probably be best to use the rails on that and slide it up the stairs.
Okay.
Underneath, it's got those flat rails they made to go upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Maybe we should carry it up because this. You're up.
Yep.
All the way. All right.
Yeah.
Just go slow. Okay, I'm up to swing. All right, I'm going to go to your left. Just put some room around it.
There it is, my TiVo Michelangelo printer, and it's printing a test right now. I've got my filament way up there coming down, and I'm using white filament so that when I print the mountain park rides, they'll all be white and I can paint them any color I need to. This is pretty cool. So we'll see how this test print comes out, and then on to bigger and better things. Well, here's the test print. It's pretty darn cool. I don't know what the heck it is, but it's really smooth. Really nice texture on this, and nice and solid. So I think we're good to go. So let's head over to Heritage Park. And here we are on August 26th at the 25th anniversary celebration of the Holyoke Merry-Go-Round being in downtown Holyoke. As you can see, there's a lot of activity, a yo-yo demonstration, a raffle, they're cooking hot dogs over here, a lot of people, a lot of activity, and that's what we like to see in the park. And also a lot of music playing too. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk through over to the Visitor Center, where you can finally see how everything turned out. There wasn't as much memorabilia as I had hoped. In fact, one guy who came in to see the exhibit said, "I've got more memorabilia in my house." It's like, well, sorry, why don't you bring it over here? But we had these little signs made up to direct people over to the Visitor Center. And over here on the right, there were also some games that I made a couple decades ago for the merry-go-round to use.
and they're very similar to games played at Mountain Park. Dime toss, the ring toss, and over here there's a roulette wheel, and the sections of the roulette wheel are names of all the rides that were at the park. So we're going to go up through here and then proceed into the exhibition hall. This over here, by the way, on the right, is going to be a splash park, a brand new splash park that's being built, which I'm sure will be really popular. So here's the exhibition hall, and Charlie put up this nice sign here directing people up the stairs to see the model. We'll get to that in a little bit. It's up there. Hi, Nick. And the display was down here. Really, I think the best part of this display were the videos that were playing of the park. So people who were unfamiliar with it could actually see what the park looked like. And there were these big prints that were around, and lots of photographs of the park as well. And that Space Skyride sign that used to hang in my garage, that was actually at the bottom of the Skyride when there was a zoo down there, because you could take the Skyride from the top or the bottom, either way. And the exhibition was well publicized, and it brought a lot of people over to the visitor center, which was a nice thing to see, because there is a lot to see in here, and it's a nice big building. So let's now go up top to where the model is.
Well, here we are. The model's in. And now, I guess, we wait until my 3D printer is cranking out stuff, and I'll bring it back up here and put them down little by little as time goes on. So that's it for now for the progress of the model. We'll get back to you again when I have something more substantial to bring you.